All right, so America needs more teachers. There's no doubt about that. Schools are facing a shortage of 300,000 teachers and staff nationwide, according to the country's largest teachers union. Many districts are resorting to once unthinkable solutions to alleviate the pressure. Some rural districts in Texas have been forced to switch to 4-day weeks this fall. In Florida, they are asking veterans with no teaching background to enter classrooms. And in Arizona, they are allowing college students to step in and teach kids. Now, the shortage has hit crisis levels, and school officials everywhere are scrambling to ensure that as students return to classrooms, someone will be there to actually educate them. Joining me now is Dan Dominick. He is the executive director of the American Association of School Administrators. Dan, it's great to have you with us. Let's talk about some of the causes of this shortage. Some of it has to do with, I would argue, the escalating culture wars that is happening in our schools and in our society. You know, the banning of books, the limiting what teachers can teach, attacking teachers for what they say and cannot say in the classroom. What is your understanding of that being a contributing factor?
Well, pretty much all the things that you've just said, although it's important to note that the teacher shortage actually has been going on for a while. It began even before COVID. But what COVID has done is that it has accelerated the process, and it has increased the number of teachers that are leaving the profession, again, for the very things that you just mentioned. The tremendous stress of the job, the abuse that many teachers have been subjected to by parents and others in terms of what they teach or don't teach. Being in school in person as opposed to virtual learning. So all of these factors have contributed. The big problem here, though, beyond the current shortage, is the fact that the pipeline is dry. When you speak to colleges and universities that have schools of education, they will tell you that their enrollment is significantly lower than what it traditionally would be. So we don't have a crop of individuals that want to teach coming up. So as we losing the one that we do have, they are not going to be replaced, not in the numbers that we need. So that is really the most urgent problem that we have right now. How are we going to get people into the classroom to teach?
I'm not sure if you saw last hour, my colleague Mehdi Hassan spoke with a parent from Keller, Texas, where the local school district has removed 42 books under their guidelines, including a graphic novel of the diary of Anne Frank. Here's what she said they're doing. Watch.
They are releasing a new set of guidelines tomorrow that is kind of their rubric of book banning. It's a rubric. It's a checklist for books, and it pretty much is going to kick a lot of books out of our library.
Your reaction to that and all the other cultural wars that are happening right now in our country to make life difficult for teachers?
Well, that's exactly the kind of action that's frustrating teachers. When parents are deciding what books can be read or not, when individuals are deciding what they can teach or not, when they can't talk about race or they can't talk about gender or they can't talk about systemic racism, any of the issues that right now are outlawed by many boards of education or states like Texas and Florida. So this is definitely a contributing factor. And by the way, it's just not teachers that are leaving the profession. Principals are leaving as well, and superintendents as well. So we are having a major exodus of educators at a time when the children need these educators most. We're so excited about the fact that a new school year is about to begin, and the teachers are excited, the principals are excited, and yet a lot of these youngsters are going to be coming into situations where they may not have a certified teacher in front of that classroom.
So what do you think of some of these stopgap solutions that I listed, you know, having states like, you know, hiring veterans with no teaching experience, asking college students to teach kids? I mean, there's no substitute for a really good teacher. I know that firsthand from my own experiences and the impact they've had on my life. But what do you think of these stopgaps?
They are exactly stopgap, as you said. They're urgent solutions to the problem, but certainly not solving the problem. Anybody that thinks that teaching is an easy thing and anybody can do it should spend a full day in a classroom with 30 kids and then talk to us about how easy that job is. These individuals are trained. They're professionals. They go through 4 years of education, and then many states require an additional year or two to get a master's degree. They know what to do and how to do it. They know how to engage children. They know how to get the best out of children. Somebody that walks into a classroom because in Texas they served in the military and have 60 credits, or in Arizona anybody can go in, that's not going to work. It's going to put an adult in the classroom, yes, so it may fulfill the need to have that, but it certainly isn't going to provide children with the kind of quality educations that parents want for their kids.
Let me see if we can end this on a slightly positive note. What can and should be done to fix the crisis? How do you convince young people with the talent, the compassion, the care to become teachers in a society that is appreciating them less and less? Do you entice them with more money? Do you work on trying to change the atmosphere? What do you see as the solution?
Well, certainly more money will help, but that's not what people go into teaching. People that go into teaching recognize from the beginning that they're not going to get the pay that they could get if they went into the private sector. They do it because they love kids and they want to engage kids and they want to create it for themselves, that wonderful reward of doing things that will help children have a more successful life. What we need to do is to create better working environments. What we need to do is get the attitude of parents to change. You'll recall that at the beginning of the pandemic, heroes, along with healthcare workers and emergency personnel, teachers were heroes. Everybody loved the teachers because they were taking these kids in at the worst of circumstances. And all of a sudden that changed when we got into the wars over wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, being in person or virtual, vaccinations or no vaccinations, and now the culture wars of things like cultural race theory that nobody really knows what they're talking about when they say it. So that's what we need to do. We need to create an environment that teachers feel wanted, comfortable, and supported.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a father of 2 young kids in schools, I can't tell you how much I appreciate teachers and what they do. So they are more than just heroes. They're saints in a lot of communities. So Dan Domenech, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your time and all the work that you guys are doing. Best to you.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.